We living. Let's get Discord open. Let the fine folks in there know. Get this controller out of the way. We're getting a little chilly. I have to start turning the heater on down here soon. Doo-doo-doo. Discord updating. Oh, great. Slow, slow, slow. Hey, Grim, what's up? How are you? Hey, Serbian Punk, what's going on? Welcome to the string. Haven't seen you in a couple weeks. No, you usually just need to play pretty much all of the worst songs you can imagine. And preferably sing. Singing's really the big deal. Well, school's good. School's better than being a NEET. I can play a little bit of flamenco. You really need a guitar set up for it, though. This guitar is set up for classical playing, which is the action's a good bit higher. Flamenco generally has a very, very low action. Sometimes a little bit thinner body on the guitar, and typically a cypress back and sides, while this is a rosewood back and sides. And the rosewood has a little more sustain than you actually want with flamenco. With flamenco, you want a really snappy sound. But this guitar is pretty dark and warm. This is actually not the guitar we're going to be playing tonight. I just happened to have it laying on the couch. Alright, let's see. Let me jump in Discord. Let everyone know we're live. Make sure to DL the chart in charts channel. I think that was in one of the Free for All Friday streams. So that would be where I would look. The thing is, they're all 3-4 hours long, so you're gonna have to dig around to find them. And depending on how long ago it was, I don't think it's been long enough to have been deleted yet, because Twitch deletes the VODs after a month or two. I've downloaded almost all of them. I missed a few, unfortunately, from June in particular. Have you ever had any non-music job? Not as an adult. I've basically been employed more or less full-time as some type of musician or music-related thing since I was 19, primarily as a teacher. But I have managed a music store, done stuff like that, done repairs and various other things. Sweet Child of Mine on the classical. It really worked better if you move it down an octave. Had to think of the fingering. start arranging it for classical guitar. Arrange the bossa nova version. All right, let's see. I need to let Facebook know we're up and running, and then we'll start getting into stuff. Oh yeah, I need to update our donation goal too, because we're going to start approaching the donations from a little bit. Should make a no pick command. I can edit. Hold on, let's see. Edit command. Guitar. This actually isn't the new guitar. This is one I've had for a while, but we'll change to it momentarily. This is a 68. 1968 Jose Ramirez Guitarra de Estudio, cedar, Indian rosewood. All right, let's see. Let's go tell Facebook. Even though probably anybody that's going to come from Facebook. Come on, underscore work. There we go. Then I'm going to get the mod panel up. 68, bro. Strings on this guitar are very, 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 very dead. And in general, just because it is cedar over rosewood, it's going to sound super dark. All right, let's swap out, because this is the one I want to play anyway. I don't know why I took the time to edit that command, considering I'm going to be changing to the other guitar immediately. So this is the newest one. This is a Kirk Sand guitar. He's famous for making these kind of hybrid instruments. Let's see, strap button is down here on it, where they have thin but hollow bodies, and the tops are braced like acoustic guitars, but they're intended really for plugged-in use, even though this one, somewhat differently from a lot of his guitars, actually has a sound hole on top. He most famously designed the SST guitar that Chet Atkins played, that Gibson then manufactured for him, which looks kind of like this sort of body shape, but without a sound hole at all, and just has the little sliders and controls up here on the top. But to be as thin as it is, and to have like a carved back instead of a flat back that's actually been cut into plates, it's really quite loud. It arrived to me though with what are called hard tension strings. Classical guitar strings come in different tensions, and these are very hard tension, so they're a little bit rough on the fingers comparatively. I usually run with medium or low tension strings. But it's a very powerful guitar. Even acoustically, you can kind of feel it thumping like in your chest from the back. The real fun, though, starts to happen when we plug it in. All right, let's bring the DI down. I'm going to go unmute the amp. I'm going to use the amp for monitoring in the room, and then I'm going to have the guitar signal coming from the direct input or direct output on the amp into the sound card. So you guys should mostly hear the electric sound of the guitar. Sounds like we need a little more high end. Is the reverb getting through to you guys? I'm not sure if the effects loop is pre or post DI on this amp. Might be switchable, in fact. I have kind of a bright room reverb. Well, of course it does. I mean, we talked about film and other stuff like that on the channel before. Even talked a little bit about philosophy, but... No, I would say music and art in general and broad strokes tend to be good anti-propaganda tools. So let's start bringing the DI up, or the level of the DI up a little bit more. See if we can get you guys a good strong signal out there. That's probably too strong. That's an extremely reductionist claim. it's still the application of the word most. It is certainly not most. There is some, but that's another subset of popular music. So the cultural underpinnings of that are probably things that are outside of the purview of a guitar stream. Guitar just has a wonderful response under the fingers. It's really impressive. Really, really, really impressive. I have a large book. Yeah, this comes from reading. Read a lot. When you run into a word you don't know, use it. Just like learning music. You hear something you don't know how to play, figure it out. Look it up. Then try to use it. Like Crowley or LaVey. Younger Nietzsche, I have a ton of younger Nietzsche. I wouldn't necessarily classify them as a cult. I think Jung is perhaps more interested in kind of flirting with understanding the roots of occult ideas. Nietzsche just speaks in aphorism, though. He's not really a cult at all. I have a book on the Kabbalah somewhere around here. I haven't read it yet, though. I also have a few books on I have a copy of the Apocrypha and a few books on the Apocrypha, and then things like the Infancy Gospels and the Apocalypses. Something akin to Spinoza's God. That's probably about as far as I would go. Come on. No, I never have. I'm not huge into substances or anything. Peculiar experience on magic mushrooms one time kind of was enough for me, for the most part, years and years and years ago. me feel too. I didn't feel too much nausea like some people report. And I didn't really see anything in particular. I felt like I was like melting or sinking into the chair that I was sitting in, like to the point of feeling like I was suffocating. Uh, Almost like the sensation you get when if you've ever had like a night terror or sleep paralysis, where you feel like you're like frozen, you can't breathe and you can't move and you can't say anything, you can't do anything. It's a very similar sort of sensation to that, and that was enough of that for me. Yeah, I mean it does different things with different folks. It can also do very different things depending on your state of mind. Okay, we're kind of getting off the music trail here a little bit. So let's see. I was going to update our donation goal. Where are you at? There we go. Because we came up with the idea the other day. So let's see. Of changing the donation goal from just like a general amount to changing it to like getting parts to fix guitars and stuff that I have around that we can then do on stream and then play with on stream. Because I've got lots and lots and lots of instruments that need, X, Y, or Z parts or repairs, this, that, or the other. And we decided that it would be really cool to use the stream donations kind of towards that end. To buy like, oh, this guitar needs a saddle, or this guitar needs a whammy bar, or this guitar needs tuners. So that way we can set really specific goals to work towards. All right, so what we were going to do, let's start with a couple easy ones. And then we'll get into the lesson. So one of them we need a bar for a Wilkinson VSVG. Do. All right, so no, wait, that's just the whole unit. We don't need the whole unit. So the arm for that guitar is $12. Okay, that's pretty good. And then we need an arm for an Ibanez SAT Pro. So probably the best place to look for that would be Ibanez Rules. Ibanez Rules is a great site and resource for Ibanez stuff. He's got a bunch of the catalogs on his website. You can get practically any part you want from him, though his website is super old and kind of painful on the eyeballs. All right, and then so the bar for that is $14. So let's set a goal, including shipping, of probably about $35. All right. Oh wow, the shipping's more expensive, so let's just set the goal to, actually if we set it to 50, we can get a bar for another one that's missing one too. So let's just set the goal to $50. Why is this space, why are you not working? Do I own a sitar? No, I wish I did. I had a friend that had one time, and it was a lot of fun. Hey, Pan, what's going on? All right, so let's say today's the 21st, so we'll set it to October 21st, 2020. I'm not sure what's going on, like what its problem is, but Friday night it kept disconnecting too. It disconnected like twice. Might have to reset the network, my network adapter or something. That or maybe I can't. No, I don't think I was adjusting anything. I was wondering if maybe like updating this goal messed with it for some reason, but it's definitely being sketch. Definitely being sketch. All right. All right, so let's get that back up there. Okay. So that's how we're going to run. Oh, there we go. I think that's how we're going to kind of like keep donation goals sort of focused. I'll say like, okay, this guitar needs these parts, this amount of work, this whatever, and then the donations from that go towards getting those parts and fixing the guitars up so we can then use them on stream. Because that's something we were doing Friday night. We were going through a lot of the guitars that I had that needed a saddle or needed a bar or needed tuners or needed, you know, any given number of parts. So the first thing that I got was, I haven't even taken it out of the package yet. This is a mid-80s Seymour Duncan Jazz that I won on eBay last week. And what this will do, this will be the neck pickup for that old Rhodes, the 1983 Jackson Rhodes that I have. I've been restoring it to original, and the original pickup combination was a jazz in the neck and a distortion in the bridge. I found the distortion a few months ago, wound by Marcelo Juarez, who's Duncan's most famous winder, and I've been keeping an eye out for a matching jazz neck from the same time period wound by her. So I finally found one last week, nice and kind of slightly rusty, which is what you want because it's a guitar from 1983. You know, you don't want your pickup to be necessarily absolutely mint visually. It won't fit with the beat up guitar. But I'm going to install that. I'd kind of like to install it on stream, but I don't really know how to do it camera wise because we don't have the camera and tripod yet. It'd be really difficult. Hoping to get that, basically just waiting for them to get back in stock somewhere and to get one before they sell out. Because cameras and stuff just sell out immediately now. Bic, as in like an ink pen. I'm just using the 2-channel Motu M2. Apparently the Focusrite Scarlets are really good too, though I haven't personally used them. MG10XU interface and a mixer. Well, so the question is, do you need the mixer part? Because, you know, if you're running into your machine, you can do all of that inside of your recording software in various ways. You know, the mixer component tends to be necessary, like if you're live mixing, like for live performance. In some cases, it can make it easier. Or if you want to just do all of your EQing and stuff on the board right there. Let's see, MG10XU. I'll look it up real quick. Oh yeah, that's a full-blown mixer. So, I mean, do you need that much I/O? You know, if you're just on your own, something like that is going to be like total overkill. You know, if you just want to like record your voice and a guitar or something like that, then this little Motu M2 is ideal. It's got 2 channels that you just run straight in. Depends, you know, if you're carrying a computer anyway, you might as well just get used to doing it all in the software. Camera. Now the camera that I'm looking at is a mirrorless camera. It's pretty light, unless you're talking about the camera that I'm using now, which is the laptop webcam, which would be kind of difficult to position over one shoulder. What makes pickups good? So there's kind of the component quality. You know, there are really great sounding cheap pickups, but they tend to have reliability issues. So there's component quality and consistency of the actual build quality, making sure that like they're wound properly, that they're taped off or potted properly so you don't get squeals, so you don't get shorted coils, that kind of stuff, that they use a decent quality magnet, because a lot of times the cheap magnets are prone to crumbling and breaking, things like that. And then there's the actual voicing of the pickup. You know, so a lot of what you're paying for is, you know, somebody has sat down with a specific idea in mind. You know, either they want to recreate some vintage classic pickup, or, you know, they have some specific concept of what they want the pickup to respond like, and they've learned how to wind it and use the correct material combinations to produce that particular response and sound. And the reason some of them in particular are so expensive, the most expensive ones tend to be recreations of the vintage Gibson PAF pickups that are in the Les Paul, the 58 to 60 Les Pauls, which are basically the most expensive guitars on the planet, you know, not counting celebrity affiliated stuff. But just on their own, you know, those bring 250, getting close to 300 grand in some cases. The original pickups in those by themselves will sell for $10,000 or $12,000, because if you got a $250,000 guitar and you need a replacement pickup, well, then what's another 10 grand to make it original again? So the guys that are considered like the absolute best at making replicas of those pickups can command a whole lot of money. Compared to like just some of the general good guys like Wolf Tone, even Duncan Antiquities, stuff like that. You know, you might spend a couple $100, $300 on a pair of them, and they sound fantastic. Moving up to a Tom Holmes set for $1,000, it's not really that much of an improvement. It's a little bit different, but you know, if you got money to blow on it, and you just have to have that very, very specific take on the sound, then, you know, whatever. Huh. Well, I mean, I'll probably need to buy like a legit tripod. Eventually we're going to do like two or three cam, multicam stuff. But I need to have like one. There's not really space on the bench where I do the guitar work, which is over there. There's not really space on the bench for a stand with a camera. Plus, to get the kind of optimum angle, it'll need to be off to the side, kind of looking down the guitar at like a high angle, which means it really needs to be on a fairly tall tripod. Recording guitar and using it for Discord. Yeah, I mean, you'll be fine, absolutely fine with just like a simple two-channel, a little two-channel interface or sound card like this, like the Motu. You have your mic for your voice if you're going to sing it all, and then you have your other channel for your guitar mic. Or you can, if your guitar has a direct out or you're using any kind of thing to run direct in, you can go straight into the other channel because it can take XLR or quarter-inch inputs. This is incredibly annoying. I'm gonna have to get some. I'm gonna have to get some like Cat 5e cable or something and just run it straight down from the router. Just do a wired connection. See if that helps at all. Oh Lord. But yeah, let's see. I'll find. So this is the one. I'll post the link in chat. This is the interface that I'm using. All right. Let's start getting. Let's get our chart up. Whee, that's huge. All right. So the chart is in the Discord if you happen to need it. Doo-doo-doo-doo. 12,000 hours in MS Paint. I'm gonna shrink it a little bit. All right, and so again, let's hit that Discord link. Here we go. It's in the chart channel on the Discord. I would recommend going through and downloading pretty much all of the charts so far because they're essentially making kind of like a lesson plan or book as they go along. They all build on each other. So this one specifically is building on the very, very, very first chart, I believe, in there, or close to the first, which is the intervals chart, where we're taking the simple relationships between the notes, right, and giving them names and describing what they sound like and what they do, what type of job they tend to do in a chord or in a scale, their general sound quality, that kind of stuff. What inversion is when we take that interval and we essentially flip it so that one tone in the interval, either the lowest tone or the highest tone, moves an octave in the opposite direction. So if we were taking, for instance, the major third interval, don't play them at the same time. Don't worry about it. That's just a demonstration. So the way the chart is laid out is we have the notes on their own, and then we have them played simultaneously. So that's the only way to play those simultaneously. But you don't have to do it. You can just kind of go, okay, 7, 2, 7, 2 to hear it that way if you'd like. And it's broken down kind of into little chunks. And anything, by the way, anything in parentheses is an optional or alternative fingering. Basically a different way to play the same note, a different way to finger the same thing. Play them with your nose. We tried that once. There is a classical guitar player who plays, I think, 8-string guitar who plays the bass notes with his chin. So you can see how, like, how in that little second bit there's a 5 and then there's a 9 in parentheses. So that note could be played at the 5 on the B string or at the 9 on the G string. Either one would be correct. They're identical. And it's going to produce a slightly different shape on the fingerboard depending on which one you do. Versus, and you should learn both of those shapes for any given interval. But what the inversion is doing is taking the higher tone in an interval and moving it down an octave, or taking the lower tone in an interval and moving it up an octave. So an interval like a unison, where we have the same note twice, becomes an octave, either an octave up or an octave down. Essentially, it's taking the lower tone, moving it up 12 half steps, taking the higher tone, moving it down 12 half steps, keeping the other tone where it is. So in the case of that first one, that unison, where we have this E note here on the 7th fret on the A string, which could also be played on the 2nd fret on the D string, we're just going to take one of those 7s and move it up. And so we get an E octave. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That one's pretty easy. Starts to get more interesting as we get into the rest of them. So if we look at the next one, the minor second interval, the minor second is simply 1 half step, and the little labels above each measure or each little grouping show you what the bass interval is. So in this case, lowercase m with a 2, minor second, shows you how many half steps are in it. So a minor second equals 1 half step. So if we're starting with that 7, the minor second interval would be at 8. 7, 8, 7, 8. If we were to play these together, we'd have to move the 8 to this string, which would give us a 3. It gives us a very dissonant, tense kind of interval. In this case, we're doing it in the key of E, or with E as the root, so E to F. All right. When we transform that, when we invert that, we're going to take the E and move it up 1 octave. So that E is going to be in the same place that it was in the previous one, either on the 5 on the B string or the 9 on the G string. The F is going to stay in the same place. And if we measure then the distance between those, we get 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. The interval that contains 11 half steps is a major 7th. So the inversion of a minor second is a major seventh. Man, this G string is hot. I wonder why. Could have something to do with the adjustability of the transducer down here in the saddle. The G and D are both actually really hot compared to interesting. I'm going to make some adjustments. This just came out of the box. It just arrived Saturday. Oh yeah, I need to update the guitar command too. This is a 2012 Kirk sand nylon mahogany. Luther. Yeah, I'm friends with him on Facebook. I did not really expect to acquire one of his guitars, but one of them turned up used for a pretty ridiculous price, and I showed Dad because I can't afford it right now, and Dad snagged it. Oh Lord, destroyed. Rip half the chat. So if we invert that then in the opposite direction, and we take the higher tone, the F, and we move it down an octave, we get F to E again, and we get that same major seventh interval an octave lower. And you could fret it like that, but I would not recommend fretting anything that way. This is an absolutely amazing sounding guitar, honestly. Like go on Reverb and type in Kirk Sand guitar and kind of see what they bring, and that'll give you kind of an idea of his reputation. Or go on his website. But anyways, so our unison, our perfect first, inverts to an octave. E to E. This one isn't Brazilian rosewood though. This one is mahogany. No, it's actually, they removed it from the sites list. Brazilian is endangered and restricted though, but you can sell it and trade it now again. It's just the wood has to be sourced from licensed and legal sources. There is a lot of really sketchy Brazilian rosewood out there. I'm actually not a big rosewood fan as far as back and sides go. I tend to prefer almost any other woods. Not quite that good of a deal, but still a very, very, very good deal. Then this is sort of this guy's specialty, is making these guitars that sound, that really carry the acoustic character over. No, we'll say more than 1K but less than 2K. guesses as to where? It wasn't a pawn shop because obviously we're not going to any pawn shops in person now. Ah. Yes, this would have been on TalkBase. This is the appropriate thing on TalkBase. No, you don't get deals. You don't get deals on forums for the most part. You know, forums are all like super hobbyist enthusiast guys who think everything is worth 10 times what it's worth. You know, like, oh, I'm giving you like a 2% discount. That's an amazing deal. I only hit it with a hammer 5 times. Nope, not CL. This was Guitar Center. This was at the Birmingham Guitar Center last week. All I can figure is like some old guy who loved Chet Atkins died and his wife took it there and just like sold it to them for way too cheap. That or they were too dumb to, you know, properly look it up and just went, "Oh man, this looks kind of nice. Well, I guess it should be." Should be less than a Taylor though. I've never heard of it. But his guitars are most famous, you know, with guys that play sort of the Chet Atkins, Jerry Reed style of playing, you know. But they work really, I mean, it's really beautiful for like any kind of fingerstyle sort of stuff. Especially that little touch of reverb there. I still haven't figured out what these two knobs do though. Like this is volume, then you got treble, mid, bass. These knobs do something, but I can't quite tell like what specifically they're doing. This one seems to be, I don't know if this is like maybe a passive tone control. It seems to change the highs a little bit. They're there just for entertainment. They're there just to mess with the sound man when the sound man says, "Hey, can you turn your treble down a little bit?" And you go like, "Yeah, okay, hold on. Is that better? Oh yeah, man, that's great." Anyways, so our unison are perfect first inverts to an octave. So 0 half steps becomes 12 half steps in either direction. Our minor second, 1 half step, inverts to a major 7th. Which is 11 half steps. Right? Our major second, 2 half steps, will then invert if we take, let's say, the E and we move it up an octave. To 10 half steps, which is a minor 7th. So becomes, be glad I didn't give you this fingering. Or yeah, that B is really quiet. we could invert in the opposite direction. And take the F sharp and lower it an octave. We get the same interval, just an octave lower. So this is what's going to be happening each time. We're going to make our way through each of the 12 intervals and then get its inversion. The minor third, 3 half steps. Let me go this way a little bit. This chair is hard to move. 3 half steps becomes 9 half steps, the major sixth. Or invert it the other way. With a low G, taking the G and moving it down an octave. So we hear that minor sound can very easily become a major sound, especially if we put it in the context of a chord. This is the real power of inversions. They allow us to use the same note pair to find different sounds, to find a different interval, to find a different relationship, which will have a different character. As well as kind of continually moving. When we start incorporating them into chords, we can continually sort of cycle and move the chord around. Do I remember? Why are you grape texting the 21st night of September? Should I remember it specifically by date? Should I click this link? Is it safe to click? You just quoting Earth, Wind, and Fire. Why do you even know lyrics from them? I don't even know lyrics from them, really. I know a lot of the musical parts of a lot of things. Oh, also, Alec, were you here? Were you here for the pickup reveal? For the Seymour. Where you at? Come on, light. There we go. Seymour Duncan, Jazz Neck, wound by Marcella Juarez to match the distortion in the bridge of the Rhodes. So now I can finally get a neck pickup in there. Yeah, except this one was from before there was a custom shop. You know, this was just when it was like Seymour Duncan and 5 other people or something. Pretty much. This one's from probably about 83 to 86, somewhere like that. So it's within the same range as my other one. That was what I really wanted to make sure, was that I had it within the same sort of year range as the bridge pickup, because they would have been wound to kind of balance with each other at during these different time periods. And also the materials used, like the magnet materials and stuff like that, have changed over the years, which is why part of why the old ones sound different from the new ones. You know, they sound similar, but there's a little different character. But they've had to change depending on what their suppliers could get them, the materials, the different alnicos and ceramics, the different magnets that they use, along with a few other things, small things. But I wanted to make sure I had one within a few years of the bridge pickup that I had, and wound by the same winder to make sure that they balanced properly the way that they were intended to. And that's basically what should have been in the guitar originally. You know, they may have been slightly earlier. These both have the Duncan logo stamped on the back, and the 83s may not have had those because they were probably using 82s off the shelf, I would figure, which I think 82 was the last year with no stamp on the back at all. Somewhere around there. There are Duncan nerds that can tell you the entire history of like every little detail of Duncan pickups, but I believe, from what I recall, that that's correct. But anyways, it's very close in age to the other one in the same winder, which is really important. That's like the third time tonight. You know, it's not seeing anything goofy with my network. All the other internet stuff. No, I mean, it's literally, Streamlabs is saying stream disconnected. But the question is, why? Why is the stream disconnecting? You know, it's not giving me like specific errors or anything like that. It's just straight up saying stream disconnected, attempting to reconnect. I don't know. As I was saying earlier, I'm going to have to like run some Cat 5 down here and actually just hardwire the thing. Even though, again, I don't see any network issue. Anyways, so this major third inverts to this minor 6. If we up there. If we move the G sharp down, we get this one, which we hear a lot. Let's say we have like a chord progression that goes. That type of thing. We'll hear that sort of low inversion where we take the higher note, move it down, and it's usually going to come up a half step to that perfect fourth. It's a really useful one. The 4 half steps of the major third becomes the 8 half steps of the minor sixth. Alright, then the perfect fourth. 5 half steps inverts to a perfect fifth. So if we have E to A to E, and the same in reverse, E to A to E. This starts to get into the territory that Grimm was talking about and having sort of some confusion with Smoke on the Water. Because we'll see in just a second what happens when we get to the perfect fifth and how it interacts with that fourth. Alright, so then a pretty easy one, the augmented fourth or diminished fifth just inverts to an augmented fourth or a diminished fifth. You'll notice that the number of half steps contained in it, down here in the bottom left, are the same for each one of the intervals. The first one is 6, and the second one is 6. So it essentially just becomes itself, but the notes flip places, which actually is a really important inversion. So E to B flat to E. That one's critical actually to making the tritone inversion and a lot of other really, really important stuff function properly. Alright, then 7 half steps, the perfect fifth, inverts to the perfect fourth. So the perfect fourth inverted to the perfect fifth inverts to the perfect fourth. So when we play Smoke on the Water, which is what Grimm was working with, he said he'd watched a video of Ritchie Blackmore saying it was played with stacked fourths rather than playing fifths like someone would typically play in a rock song like that. If we play that with fifths in the key of G, we get. But by inverting those fifths into fourths relative to the D tone in this case, taking the low G and moving it up an octave, we get that more kind of growly and aggressive sort of sound than we actually get from the perfect fifth. Because the perfect fifth is much more stable sounding than the perfect fourth. The perfect fourth has an almost kind of openness to it. It makes it more kind of vocal. I'm just adding the bass tone in, which is just this G. Missed your question. What's in the bridge? You mean in the Bridge of the Rhodes? The Bridge of the Rhodes has a Duncan distortion. Because the stock pickups, you know, assuming someone didn't custom order something different, the stock pickups would have been a jazz in the neck and a distortion in the bridge. But I mean, you could have ordered it with anything. You see early ones with EMGs. You see them with different Duncans in them, stuff like that. But but that was sort of the stock setup, and it's a really good, really classic setup. The distortion is a great sounding pickup for rock and early metal especially. It won't quite do like the modern metal, the super crazy modern metal sounds that you get from like the Fluences and some of the bare knuckles and the newer Duncans and DiMarzios and things, but I think it's largely a better sounding pickup. You should play some real ESPs, because legit ESPs are seriously good guitars. So anyways, the perfect fifth inverts to the perfect fourth. And once we get past that point, we start to see essentially the same sequence that we just came through, but in retrograde. So once we get to that perfect fifth, the next one is a minor sixth. The minor sixth inverts to a major third. And we saw earlier that the major third inverted to a minor sixth. Now we're to the minor sixth, it inverts back to a major third. Option. ESP makes a really excellent guitars just in general. They make a lot of different types of guitars. You mostly see the metal oriented ones over here, but even their classic Strat and Tele style guitars are outstanding. The one I really want though, like sort of my dream ESP, is one called the Maverick, which I don't think they make anymore outside of the custom shop. Especially in like a purple one with a maple fingerboard, because I've seen a couple like that and it's just gorgeous. So a really common way to use this particular inversion, the minor sixth going to the major third as opposed to the other way around. We talked about major third going to minor sixth like this, or anytime you've heard a rock guitarist go, they're doing the major third to minor sixth type flip or inversion. The minor sixth to major third gives us things like, let's say we're playing in a minor key. It gives us this really pretty little chord change versus playing in uninverted. Or shifting entirely up. So it implies a different type of chord change, which is pretty cool. All right, and we'll see now as we go along that we're just getting the same things over again. When we get to the major sixth, and we invert that up. Looks like my G's drifting out of tune a little bit. Minor third, we got the major sixth. Now we're doing the major sixth. We get the minor third. Same with the minor seventh. Now it becomes major second. Major seventh. essentially just making our way back down, but in reverse. We started off with the perfect first and went up, and then we got to that perfect fifth, and then things started, well, really, you could even say we got to the augmented fourth or diminished fifth because it inverted to itself. Then we started going essentially back through the same ones, but the order is now flipped. And then we get to the octave. The octave is going to invert to a unison. So we take the E and we move it up, we get the same E twice. We take the high E, we move it down, we get the same E twice. So we essentially wound up where we started. We went up, flipping, and then after we got to that halfway point, we started coming back down, but the relationships were reversed. When we got to that perfect fifth, the perfect fifth inverted was the perfect fourth that we had back here a couple steps beforehand. Then the minor sixth just becomes the major third, and so on and so forth till we get all the way back down to the unison. Now, down here at the end of the chart are these little diagrams that are useful for kind of finding an interval independently. Instead of having to necessarily just straight up memorize all of these, which was ideal in the long run, you can remember certain little factoids about them. So something you may notice is that the numeric part of an interval, when it inverts, when it flips, so let's say, let's take, we'll just do it with the octave. That's the easiest one here. All right. So if we look at the octave is a perfect eighth. So in this case, our x is going to be 8. Inverted x is going to be a perfect first. So inverted x is going to be a 1. 8 plus 1 equals 9. And that's going to be consistent for every single inversion pair. So if we have a major seventh, or any kind of seventh, it's going to invert to a second because 7 plus 2 equals 9. So we can see our minor seventh. Oh wait, no, I don't want my screen. Give me the chart back. Streamlabs, geez. The minor seventh becomes a major second. 7 plus 2 is 9. The sixth becomes a third. 6 plus 3 is 9, etc. All the way through. All right. The half steps that make up an interval will invert to a combination of half steps that will add to 12. So it's pretty easy in the case of the octave. The octave has 12 half steps in it, so it's going to invert to a perfect first, which has 0. The major seventh has 11 half steps into it, so it's going to invert to an interval which has 1, which is the minor second. The minor seventh has 10 half steps. It's going to invert to the interval that has 2 half steps, the major second, etc., etc. So essentially the number in the interval name will always add up to 9 with its inversion. The half steps will always add up to 12 with its inversion, because 12 half steps in an octave, right? All we're doing is taking one tone and moving it up an octave, or the higher tone and moving it down an octave. So we still have to maintain that 12 half step relationship. Then from there, all you have to know is that if it's a major interval, it becomes a minor interval. If it's a minor interval, then it becomes a major interval. If it's a perfect interval, it stays perfect. So the octaves become perfect firsts. The perfect fourths become perfect fifths. And then in the case of augmented and diminished, so specifically the augmented fourth and the diminished fifth, the augmented becomes diminished and the diminished becomes augmented. So the augmented fourth becomes a diminished fifth and vice versa. In the big chart that I've written down here, we have a couple other augmented and diminished intervals, which are a little less common but actually are really important. And this is sort of a visual demonstration of which interval flips or becomes which other interval as it inverts. And you would not believe how proud I was of myself for figuring out how to make these curves, even though they're still crappy, but how to actually like make smooth curves in MS Paint, because I'd never managed to do it before. I finally figured out that it was like a, what's his name? The mathematician, is it Boulier or something like that? It's a different type of curve, because I kept trying to like draw a curve shape and I'm like, this isn't working. It's not working at all. And then I figured out, okay, wait a minute. I have to actually click like different points to create the outline of the curve that I want, the arc of the curve that I want. But anyways, figured it out. Proud of myself. Again, 10,000 hours in MS Paint. But we can see perfect first inverts to the perfect eighth. Minor second inverts to the major seventh. Major second inverts to the minor seventh. The minor third is also known as an augmented second. That augmented second would invert to a diminished seventh, while if it's functioning as a minor third, it inverts to the major sixth. The major third, which is also known as a diminished fourth, inverts to a minor sixth, while the diminished fourth inverts to an augmented fifth. The perfect fourth inverts to the perfect fifth, and the augmented fourth inverts to the diminished fifth. So it creates kind of this sort of continuum of inversion. You can see that any one interval is kind of continuously connected and can be used as or in place of its inversion there. That's going to be really, really, really critical, not just in terms of like individual interval usage, just sitting around going, you know, okay, moving through the intervals in a simple manner like that. But as you start to incorporate them into chords and chord progressions, let's say you have you want somewhere else you can go with this that's not going to like functionally change the harmony. I could take this interval, which is a minor third, and I can invert it. So now suddenly I get, instead of start moving through these different sort of cycles of inversions of just that interval. Will become, will become, will become, will become. And so you get this da 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 da. You can start to incorporate scalar phrases in and around those inversions, and you don't lose the E minor feel, the minor third feel through all of that. Then as you build that into chords, it's entirely just working out of inversions of an E minor chord. And we'll have a whole separate lesson on how we approach using the inversion idea to invert chords specifically, but it starts off with just inverting these intervals, with just taking these simple little two-note intervals, flipping them around, taking the low note, moving it up an octave, taking the high note, moving it down an octave. We can move through that whole cycle. Through. If you play through the chart just as a straight piece of music too, it sounds pretty cool. Not particularly tonal because it moves through basically every combination of E and every other note in the octave, but it does sound pretty cool. Very modern sounding. All right, it's been at that about an hour and a half. Any questions about the inversions? Nothing? Alright, let's see. Well, what shall we do now? Oof. Well, it's too bad Ophasad's not here. This would be like perfect for going back over that song we did a couple, well, it's about 2 weeks ago now that he requested. Would be perfect for it. Alright, let's see. Started off something like that. Come on, Twitch, pull up. little sloppy. Little sloppy. Has any questions? Let's learn a song. It's one I've been wanting to work on, especially since this guitar showed up. Let's see. See if I can find. I have the actual sheet music on hand. It'd be easier just to pull it up online somewhere, probably, rather than constantly looking down at sheet music. Let's close that. And I'll shrink this down and get it. There we go. Where I can see it and get it over here in front of Streamlabs. See how much I can remember from memory. Oh, K-Dorf 90, welcome to the stream. Yeah, it just wound up getting this this guitar arrived on Saturday. So now that we've kind of finished up our lesson in the beginning of the stream, I'm just gonna goof off with some music that I've been meaning to go back over and learn some more of. I played this piece many years ago when I was studying classical guitar, but I probably haven't played it all the way through. Oh man, since I was like 17 or 18, I would figure. So I figure now is as good a time as any to go back over it. Yeah, it's a classic, absolutely beautiful piece of music. To get very expressive with that intro. So let's see. Then we have this little run. Da 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 da. A C sharp E G. So it's a big, yeah, that's right. It's a big position shift. right, so let me read through it. All right, so C sharp, D, E. We're shifting down. Da 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 dum. So how do we want to finger that? 1, 2, da 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 dum. So if we play that, dum, 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 da, dum. We're landing on that. Then up to C natural, da, 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 da. Grabbing the open D, that's interesting. Da, 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 da. There we go. What on earth? $50, dude. That is absolutely amazing. You've completely destroyed our donation goal in one go. That's going to be 3 different trim bars. That's going to fix up 3 different guitars for us. So thank you so much. I really appreciate that. And, hit the follow button. Come back next time. We do all kinds of crazy guitar stuff and music stuff. All different styles of music. All different kinds of guitars. Thank you for stopping in, though, and thank you so much for that. That's huge. That is absolutely massive. I'll see you next time. I'll be back Wednesday night. So if you're around Wednesday night, please jump back in the stream. So you gotta get that at tempo. No. There we go. A string, A string, A string. Da 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 dum. Nah, come on. Index finger. Get the fan pointing at me too. Starting to get hot. Alright, so. Rush that a little bit. Okay, so da 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 do 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 do. we're shifting down a position, down into the second position. Okay, so Hey Grim, it should be in the title. It's a piece called Capriccio Arabe by Francisco Tarrega. It's a famous classical guitar piece that I played it many years ago when I was a teenager studying classical guitar, and I have not played it really in its entirety in forever. I mean, probably getting close to 20 years. You know, I think I probably last played it when I was like 17 or 18. Played little bits and pieces of it here and there, but I thought it'd be good to actually go back and go through it properly. Still rushing that though. What do you have, a low A on the first one? Gotta shift all the way down for that. We have a fermata there. Alright, so then we're gonna have I'm not sure about that fingering though. Do da. What do you want to do? So we got to work this part out. So we have a D minor. So I want to finger this with A, C sharp, G that way. Low G, we're going into then we need a low F, so how do we want to finger that? There we go. This one is different. Do, do, do. So we're doing that with shifting fingering. Da, 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 da. So B natural. High F, okay. Then F and A. And I can't quite see that. Still F and A. Do-do-do-do-dum. Alright, so we're coming out of. Is the E first. So yeah, the E is separate. Do, da, do, do, do. So I'm going to finger F and A this way. Yeah, do it that way. Then we can actually pull that off properly. And then where are we going to play that E? Dum, da 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 dum. Bit of a reach. Do da 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 da. That's definitely not where we're going to play that. Da 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 dum. We do want to play this here. It's easier for me to finger that way. E, C sharp. So we're hammering that one on. Da, 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 dum. So I remember this part pretty well. But then when we get to this section, I don't quite remember it. So C sharp, da da, C sharp, E, C sharp. finger that with? Yes, we are. We're shifting down. B flat, G, B flat, G, E, C sharp. I want you to finger the C sharp though with your index finger, so that means we have to go. So 2, 2, 4, B down. Then we land back on that A with the pinky with a low D underneath. Interesting. So then, we're going down to E with our index. We get another little chord phrase. Okay. Ba da da da. Figure that there. What a strange way to write that. Well, it's because of the F sharp coming up, that's why. Alright, so I gotta get the bass note right. Come on, come on, come on, come on, so close. Back into that. There we go. Finger it this way. Do, 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 do. Not quite that fast. So 1 E or 2 E, 3 E and a 4 E, 3 E and 4 E. So let's begin from this section. that then. Okay, so we're coming out of open G down, and then G and B flat. So oh wait, we gotta be flat. Oh, dude, Grim, thank you so much for that. That's awesome. Thank you, thank you. Really appreciate that. All right, so let's see. We're coming out of. Da, 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 da. Alright, so then we're going to get a lick that starts to pick up, get more complex. Alright, so let's see. That's kind of weird. You'd think you'd be able to. So B flat, A, D, C sharp. There we go. Well, surely it didn't charge Alec B again. So B flat, A, D, C sharp. You'll leave that A ringing out underneath. Da 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 da. So let's see. So we're getting something similar to the intro now. Huh. I don't know. I don't know exactly how it works. I don't know. Let's see. So this is similar to the intro riff. Once we get up here. Just got to remember to just have one bass note though. So I think that's got to be played there. So. So. There we go. Oh, that's interesting. How are we going to do that? E flat and open G. I keep wanting to go to that second fret. That's like the fourth time tonight. I don't know what on earth Streamlabs' problem is, but it is ticking me off. Something fierce. Something fierce. I don't know why it keeps disconnecting me. So then last time it has a C natural. Okay, so then. B flat. What is that? A G. G. Then G. C7. Okay. Do. Finger that. F and high A. That's definitely not how we're going to finger that. Alright, let's see. So we're going to have low E, then we're going to have C. We shifted this kind of happy major key after all that dark, sad D minor stuff. grab the F with 4. Let's play that A. Oh, that's tough. Do-do. Want to play that there. So we're going to work out kind of the chord shapes or the fingerings here for each of these little bits. We get into this section because I really don't remember this section. So we're coming out of this. So you get that phrasing right. 1 and 2, 2, 1, 1 and 2, and then 3. We're grabbing that while that's still ringing out, preferably 3. so we're coming from this big F major shape into a G minor sort of shape, into a C7 shape, back to I'm gonna go listen to it to get that phrasing down. Because those little 30-second notes. So we're coming from putting a pull on. Da 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 da. Just stay on that string. Da da da. D B flat G E D B flat. Okay. big A sort of scale sequence, or arpeggio sequence here. So we're coming out of. Nope. There we go. Now we're back to it. Where do we want to finger this? We're going to finger this here. We've shifted up to a major key. Oh man. Oh man, that's wild. What's we got left from there? So 36 to 62. It's about 30 measures left from there. Alright, so let's go back. Let's work up to where we are. major 23, which then gets us to that's G natural, B flat, do. This pull off lick. Okay. Gotta get back to here. That's an interesting change. You hear that big chromatic run up. So how else could we finger that? It's got to be a little more efficient way to finger that. So let's see, we're going to have B, C sharp, D. Bar the 5th fret. Figure that way. There. So Getting close to the end. And now we're fingering that. B. I think we're really bad at this. What do we have? B. That can't be the right fingering. G. Oh, it's B flat. No, he's got a natural sign in front of it. There we go. Okay, so D. Oh, we get this again. Yeah. So, B. Okay, so it's the same as the first time. Yep. Yep. Hitting that bass note too soon. So let's get that right. Man, what a cool piece of music. There's a couple tricky fingerings in there. A couple tricky fingerings. That segment where it sort of modulates to the major key, you get all these fun little like 30-second note mordants and trills and stuff kind of worked in, and it's kind of crazy. Or not really crazy, but one where you really have to listen to sort of hear how the sort of intent of how they're meant to be sort of played. This is a beautiful little arpeggio. Oh man, that was a ton of fun. That's going to need some polish, some real polish. Because I remember most of the sort of chordal parts, but those little fills, those little runs and fills and trills and stuff, seriously have to put some effort into them. All right. Anybody out there have any questions or anything you want to talk about or discuss really quick? A pretty quiet night, but man, we had an awesome donation from Katedorf 90. That was crazy. Pretty much slapped our new donation goal just like right out of the sky. So I'll have to go order the trim bars. We're going to get a trim bar for the Blazer for the BL1025, trim bar for the SA1260, which is one of my favorites, which I don't play too much on stream because it's a little noisy with all the single coils. But it needs a trim bar, and then maybe we'll look into getting locking tuners for it because I think that'll help it out a lot. And then need to buy another edge bar because I have 4 guitars with edges, but only 2 of them have bars. So yeah, the next goal, we're going to step up to something bigger, I think, then, because like, dang. So I've got, let's see. This is basically just buying some missing parts and stuff. So the next projects will be things where we're getting up more into like major part replacements or overhauls. Like that Zion guitar needs probably about a $300 overhaul as far as parts and everything go. I'll do all the work myself, but there's one that's a little less than that, because that one might be a little too much. But I'll think about it. We'll figure out another one to start working towards, and we'll start getting all these guitars like fixed up and kitted out, and then we can use them. We can use them more to their full potential on stream. Have more fun things to play. All right, well, we've been going for about 3 hours. Again, if you need the chart for the interval lesson earlier, it's in the Discord. If you'd like the piece of music I was just playing, I can put that in the Discord too. Or, well, it's a little big, so I might Dropbox it or something, or send you a link to it, because there's a bunch of PDFs of it and stuff on the internet. But if you're not in the Discord, get in the Discord. If you're not following, hit the follow button. This Wednesday is it Washed Out Wednesday or Weeb Wednesday? I think it's Washed Out Wednesday. This Wednesday we'll be playing with pedals, I think, and making fun noises and stuff all night long. If you're wondering what my guitar is, use the guitar command. This is a new one. Just showed up Saturday. It's amazing. Check out the socials down there. Starting to post stuff on YouTube. Got a video up on YouTube. Going to have some more, hopefully, probably tonight. Going to start putting the full streams, old full streams and stuff like that on there too. Getting the YouTube running. Check the Insta for pictures. Check the Twitter for updates on the stream, that kind of stuff. But thanks everybody for hanging out, whoever all's out there. Thanks, K-Dorf. I know you said you had to go to bed, but thank you so much for that donation if you happen to still be here. No Grimm's been around and no Pan's been around. Alec, I'm sure, is asleep. But thanks everybody for hanging out while I worked on that piece of music. Be back Wednesday for experimenting with pedals and ambient guitar. Also, Grim, you did a really good job, kind of getting Smoke on the Water up to speed there. That last one was pretty much dead on, especially since we're just doing it all pretty much by text. All right, I gotta wrap it up. I'm getting hungry, getting tired. Playing pieces of music like that will wear you out. Parts at once. All right. But anyways, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for hanging out. I'll see you guys next time.